We will discuss the trig functions of supplementary angles. Now let's recall what are the trig functions. On the unit circle, if you draw a unit circle, then for a given angle theta, if this angle happens to be theta, then the coordinates will give the x coordinate and the y coordinate will give us the trig functions. And we defined sine theta as the y coordinate, cosine theta as the x coordinate, and tan theta is the ratio, sine over cosine, which is y over x. And you can also define the reciprocal functions. Cosecant would be 1 over y, secant would be 1 over x, and cotangent would be x over y. Now, what are supplementary angles? So if theta is in the first quadrant, you can imagine theta to be acute, then supplementary angle would be 180 degrees minus theta, and that would fall in the second quadrant. So if that's theta, then this angle, the red one, is going to be 180 degrees minus theta. So let me draw that with a double arc. So this angle will be 180 degrees minus theta. Now notice that this point has the same y coordinate because it's above the x-axis, but it has the opposite x coordinate. So if this point has coordinates of x, y, this would be negative x and y. Now from here we can write down that sine of the supplement 180 degrees minus theta is not going to change because it's the same as y. But cosine of 180 degrees minus theta, that's the opposite of x. So it's negative cosine theta. So sine, cosine, they remain sine and cosine in magnitude, but cosine of the second quadrant would be negative. And tan would also be negative because it's the ratio. Positive over negative is going to be negative. And once we know these, we can also write down the reciprocals. If sine is positive, cosecant will also be positive. So it's going to be same as cosecant theta, and secant of 180 degrees minus theta would be negative secant theta. And cot 180 degrees minus theta would be negative cot theta. Generally, if you can know sine, cosine, and tan, that's good enough. You can always get these by taking the reciprocals. So let me go ahead and just put these three in the box. And what we want to realize is sine will remain positive, whereas cosine and tan will be negative. And if you remember the memory device, add sugar to coffee. So in the second quadrant, sine is positive, whereas the other two are negative. Now you might argue, well, we took theta to be acute. Now the reasoning will work even when theta is not acute, but the computation will get messy with a lot of negative signs.